presentation, then you can represent your study project. No problem.
Okay.
Let me to talk about your presentation. Okay. I think some of you annoyed by my video message. Excuse me. My video message are so frank, and I think some of you annoyed by it. Excuse me. I appreciate your hard working about your presentation. Some of you sent me your presentation work, but as one of your friends wrote a message in her message, probably you are presenting for the first time, as I guess. So it's trivial to have some mistakes, have some errors in your presentations. But the duty of us is to notify you about your mistakes, about your errors, and help you to make a better presentation. So I decided to speak about how to make a good presentation in this session. But as Miss Noor wants to present his work, let me to set a time for her to show her presentation. After that, I want to talk about how to make a good presentation, and I hope it will be good. It will help you to make a better representation at next sessions. Let me to define Miss Noor as presenter. Okay. Go ahead, please. You can share your slides and start your speech.
السلام عليكم.
Salamun alaikum. Go ahead, please.
The screen is appear, Victor?
Yes, no problem.
Okay. This exercise about the section 7.1. Number 1, give the seed node and 0, the initial node, and the final node and the edge for the graph in the figure 7.2. This is the figure about 7.2, the exercise 7.2. The solution, we question a node main L the node in the graph. We main node 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. This the node. And the initial node, every node we have the this figure. It is initial node. Initial node, seed initial node here. This node 1, 2, 3. And the final node, every node have 2 cycles. this 8, 9, and 10. Of the graph, it is A 1 to 4, 1 5, 8, 8, 2 5, 2 6, 5 9, 6 9, 3 6, 3, and 7 10, 6 10. It is the edge of this graph.
Excuse me, Miss Noor. Before I explain the solution, please define the problem. Please show the problem description on the book.
Yes.
This won't know the problem. The exercise. Show the exercise at the.
Yes, this.
Okay, give the set. Okay.
Give the.
Okay.
Yes, doctor. I read it.
Okay.
Okay. And
okay, go ahead, please.
And the two exercise about give the that is test path in the figure 7.2. That's same figure. We need the test path that it is not test path. Test path, it is the test. It is the begin from the initial node and end to the final node. In this exercise, we need path. It is not test path. Every path begin not from initial and the end, not in the end. It is path. We can give any path from 1, 5, 2. It is not test path. Or
excuse me, Miss Noor. Go above. Go to
the figure.
Figure. Okay. You are right in the definition of the not test passes that are not a test pass. Any pass that start from a non-initial node, or not and or ended in non-final node are the passes that are not test pass. Any test pass should start from an initial node and ends at the final node. Okay, so you have explained the pass started from node 1 to 5 to 2. It's not a pass.
Yes.
It's essential. It's not a pass because our graph is directed. We cannot go ahead from excuse me. We cannot move to node 2 from node 5. Please show the figure. We cannot move to node 2 from node 5. So you can, for example, you can say the path that starts from. Excuse me. Show the figure. Show the figure.
Yes.
Show the figure. You can say, for example, the path that starts from node 3, go to node 6, and then go to node 2 is a non-test path. Is no test path. That's a path which is not a test path.
Okay, doctor.
A test path. Excuse me. Indeed, a test path relates a complete execution. Okay, it should be a complete execution. A complete execution starts from an initial node and ends at a final node. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thanks.
The solution for this exercise 5, 9, 5, 10. 5, 9, sorry, not 5, 9, 6, 10.
6, 10.
5,
Okay,
9,
okay.
10. Yes,
Okay, no problem.
yes. List all the test pass in the 7-2. In the same figure, all the test pass, it is 1, 4, 8.
Okay,
The pass 1, 4, 8 or 1, 5, 8
okay.
or 2, 5, 8 or 2, 5, 9 or
159.
1, 5, 9 or 1, 5, 9, 6, 2, 5, 8 or 1, 5, 9, 6, 6, 10
Okay.
or 3, 6, 10 or 3, 7, 10. This is
Okay.
the seat of the test pass.
Please note to this question. Can we list all possible passes for this control flow graph?
Yes, Doctor. Again, أو
No. This control flow graph has a loop. So we cannot list all test passes. When we have a loop, we cannot list all the test passes. Excuse me, let me for a moment. Please check this notion. Again.
yes,
Okay, go ahead, please. In this figure, in this control flow graph, we have a loop. So all test passes include all possible repetition of our loop. So when we can do this for infinity times, and it is impossible to list all possible test passes according to this control flow graph. So we in practice we just check the loop for no execution, skip the loop, execute once, or execute once, more than one.
question 4.
Have you noticed?
Question 4. In the
Okay.
figure,
Go ahead.
by 17 test case input such that the corresponding test path visited edge 2, 4. This is the solution in a note in the figure. Input A equals 0 and B, we have some condition in this case. Test case 8 equals 0 and B equal 1. In the path 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 4, 3, 1, 2, 4, 3. When A is not B, and the test 1, 4, 3, when A equal B, and in the path A 3, when the A longer than or bigger than B. In this case, can you reach to this case when the A less than B, and A equal B in two cases. Doctor, can you hear me?
Excuse me. Let me
Can you hear
to.
me, Doctor?
explain more. Suppose we have a program, we have a structure that's modeled by this control flow graph, in which we have if then else structure. We have to check the relative relation of A and B in 3 ways. One for when A less than B, one when A equals B, and one when B greater than B. Okay. For this control flow graph, for example, we can have several test cases to experience each test passes. For example, this can be a test pass, from node 1 to node 2, 4, 3 is one test case. 1, 2, 3 is another test case. 1, 4, 3 is a test case with length 2. So by several test cases we can experience these test passes, and at this box, at the box below the control flow graph, there are 3 test cases. As you know, the test case should be included with input values. For example, in test case 1, when we have A to be 0 and B is 1, so in test case T1 in the box, A is 0, B is 1. This test case executes what test pass? Which test pass should be can be experienced by these input values? As you know, in this case, A is less than B. A is less than B, so we go through node from node 1 to node 2 by the first test case, and then we go to node 4, and then we go to node 3. So the test pass, the resulted test pass for these input values is shown in this box as a test pass P1, 1, 2, 4, 3. And next test case T2 is a test case for A, B1, B, B1 again. So in test case T2, we have A and B equally, with equal values. Okay, so the next test pass is 1, 4, 3. P2 is 1, 4, 3. And in test case 3, we have another circumstance in which A is greater than B. A is 2, B is 1. So the according test pass should be 1, 3. We go from node 1 to node 3 immediately. Okay. So we see three test cases in this box, but in the exercise asked us to have a test case to cover the edge 2 to 4.
Yes, Doctor. In this
As you know, this edge is located on a path that started by a circumstance of A be less than B. So by each values that we have a less than b, we can visit this edge.
Yes, from 2
Please
to 4.
go ahead. Please go ahead.
Yes.
Okay.
In case A lesser than B, visit this edge 2, 4 when A equal 0 and B equal 1. In this case,
Okay, you are right.
use this path from 1, 2, 4, and 3. In other case,
That's right. Thanks.
and visit and end 7.2. Answer question A to D for the graph defined by the following set. N, this node 1, 2, 3, 4, node 0, initial node equal 1, final node equal 4, edge from 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 2, 4. A, draw the graph. This graph. We have 4 nodes, 1, 2, 3, and 4. This node. Initial node, it is 1, this. But it needs the initial here. And node, it is 4. Edge from 1 to 2. 2 to 3. 3 to 2. To 4. This is the graph.
Okay.
If possible, let's test paths that achieve node coverage but not edge coverage. If possible, explain why not. The coverage not coverage, it is the path begin from initial and end to the final. It's along 0 and with long 0, and the node, can you hear me, doctor? Doctor? Can you hear me? Doctor, I couldn't hear. Okay, doctor. In the question, need a test path achieve node coverage but not edge coverage. This is not possible because edge coverage subsumes node coverage. When you get to 2, we covered every node in this figure. We cannot give edge coverage test path for edge node coverage and not subsumes edge coverage. Go to C, دكتور. C. Yes or no? Can you hear me? I couldn't hear your sound. Can you hear me, دكتور? Okay.
No problem. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Miss?
Yes.
No? Okay, no problem. Miss Hannah want to speak. Please.
Yes, doctor.
Anyone can explain? Please
Stop.
solve the question. Please answer the question, Miss Zahra.
Yes. What is the question?
Please ask your question again, Miss Zahra. Oh.
I couldn't see the question.
I see your screen. You received my messages with delay. We have a delay in our conversation.
This.
Let me check my net. No. Miss Zahra, please ask your question again. If you have a question, I enable your mic. Your mic is enabled. You can ask your question again. So, okay. No problem. Please go ahead.
I think
Excuse me.
Okay. Yes, Mrs. Zahra, I can hear it.
No, I just asked you, doctor, about where someone
Your sound is too weak to hear.
Very
Miss
low.
Zahra, your sound is too weak.
Okay. Thanks.
Yes, Ms. Zahra. Go ahead, doctor.
Okay, no problem. Please continue, Miss Noor.
Okay.
No problem.
Point
She wrote. You can continue.
Point C. If possible, list test path that achieve edge coverage but not edge bare coverage. If not possible, explain why not. Not because edge bare coverage subsume edge coverage. The solution. D.
Excuse me. Please read again the problem. If possible, list test passes that achieves edge coverage, but not edge pair coverage. The problem wants, the exercise wants you to cover edge coverage. No.
Yes.
No, it is possible.
How?
Excuse me, please note that this question is different from the previous one. The previous one, wants to cover all nodes but not all edges. According to this graph, please show your graph. According to this graph, when we want to cover node 3, we have to cover all edges again. Okay? So this is impossible to cover all nodes but not cover all edges. Okay?
Yes.
This is not due to a substitution problem. Okay?
Okay.
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 So go ahead, please, for part C. Go to part C and read again. In part C, excuse me, in part C, we want to achieve edge coverage, but not edge pair coverage. It's possible. For example, the pass 1, 2, 3, 4, that's 3, 2, 4, cover all edges, but not all edge pairs. For example, the edge pair 3, 2, 3 is not covered by this pass. So we can have a simple pass such as 1, 2, 3, 2, 4 as a test pass that cover all edges,
But
not all edge pairs.
But Doctor,
Okay.
path of the edge coverage, it is the length 1 from edge 1 to edge 2. From node 1 to
No.
edge pair.
No, Miss Noor.
Edge cover from length and edge
Uh,
from length 1 2 1 2 3 edge pair.
There is no, excuse me, there is no limitation of lengths. You can have a path with any lengths. There is no constraint on your length. When we say edge coverage, it's not it not means that your passes should be of length 1. But you can have passes with any lengths. The main problem is that we want to cover all edges. For example, a pass of length 4, at this case, covers all edges. The pass of length 4 that starts from node 1, 2, 3, 2 again, and then go ahead to node 4, covers all edges
Okay.
which have length 4.
Okay.
In this case, we have to write a test pass at least of length 4. Okay,
Okay, sorry.
the shortest pass is that test pass.
Yes.
Okay, but this shortest pass does not cover all edge pairs.
Okay.
Which edge pair could not be covered at this case? Which edge pair could not be covered?
Okay, Doctor. Sorry. Go ahead.
Can you answer me? Which edge pair could not be covered by this pass?
2, 4. Edge 2, 4.
No. 2, 4 is the edge pair. Let me write via the chat this pass 1, 2, 3, 2, and then move to 4. This is my test pass. This test pass could not cover this edge pair. This is a edge pair. 3, 2, 3. Okay. This edge pair could not be covered by our test pass.
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Please this solution, fix your answer if
After that.
you want to send to your
Okay.
friends.
Okay.
Okay.
Point D. Place the test path. Give edge pair coverage. Test path for edge pair coverage. 1, 3, 2, 4. We begin. Give the test requirement. Test requirement. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 4, 2, 3, 2. This test requirement and the path the edge pair coverage 1, 2, 3, 2, 4.
Excuse me, we have another edge cover edge pair. 3, 2, 3.
3, 2, 3.
Okay.
Okay.
And another one is 3, 2, 4.
Okay.
Okay.
3.
You have ignored these two edge pairs. 3, 2, 4.
2, 4.
And 2, 3, 2.
3. Yes.
3, 2. Excuse me, you wrote 3, 2, 3 trees.
2 and 3.
3. You wrote no. You wrote 3, 2,
Yes.
3 3 times. Again, you fix your test requirement. 3, 2, 3. Excuse me. 3 to 3 is written twice in your test requirement. One of them should be 2, 3, 2. One of them.
3.
Okay, Mr. Muhammad.
3. Victor, please again. 3, 2, 4. 2, 3, 2.
2, 3, 2. 3, 2. Please add 2, 3, 2.
2. Yes. Go ahead.
Okay. You should have several test passes. By one test pass, you cannot cover all of these edge pairs. The main problem is that you should have a test set to cover all of your test requirements.
Yes.
At this point, you have all test requirements, but your test your test set is not true.
Yes. We need the test path from 1 to 3, 2, 3, 2, 4. We have loop.
Okay, this test pass, please check this test pass cover which test requirements. You need
2,
1, 2, 3, 2, 3. Okay.
4.
2, 2, 4. Please fix it. You can go ahead from node 3 to node 2 and then move to node 4.
2, 3, 2, this.
Please add node 2 between 3 and 4.
3, 3 to 4, this.
2,
Okay.
4.
That is right now?
3, 4. No. Please note that we cannot go directly from node 3 to node 4.
Yes, 2 in the middle.
Okay.
Yes. So I couldn't graph now. It is up.
Okay. So we need another test case.
Another test case?
We need another test case. These two test cases. These two test cases could not cover all your test requirements. For example, the test requirement 1, 2, 4 is not covered
Yes,
by
that's right.
these two test passes.
Well,
Okay.
can you add this path? 1, 2, 4.
Please add 1, 2, 4. I think it's okay. Okay.
Okay. Question 5. Answer question A to G for the graph defined by the following state. We have this node 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Initial node 1 and final node 7, and we have this edit.
Excuse me, Miss Noor. If possible, please postpone to the next sessions the later questions because I want to explain some points about your presentation so that you should represent your presentations, your project, your study project by the next week. If possible, let me to start my speaking. Okay, no problem.
Thanks.
I appreciate you for your it's an excellent discussion. I hope in next session ever in presentation sessions we have a good challenge, we have a good discussion about your problems, so I think it's possible to have a good sessions in next weeks. Excuse me, let me turn off the mic for comment. Excuse me, thanks a lot, Miss Noor. Let me share my screen and start our speech. Excuse me. As I wrote some message today about your presentation slides, all of your presentations I have received till now have some problems, and they are serious problems, and I want to talk about those problems, and I hope you can fix your presentations soon. And this could be, these problems checking could be a good lesson for all of you and mine. So let me check some points about have a good presentation. I will send you this link at this page. There are some good points about making a good representation. Presentation design guide, how to summarize information for presentations. The main problem of your PowerPoint slides is that all of them are full of text, and that's a big problem in designing slides, because the PowerPoint slide is a means to help us to have a better speech. Okay, and no one can read the text of your slide and hear and understand your talking at the same time. This is impossible. Your audience will be boring and suffer from those lectures, because they don't know not to your talking or read your text. But when we have a good slide with enough text, with no more text, the audience can simply have taken eyes to the text and encouraged to listen to your speech more carefully. Okay, so let's go to start informing you these points for you. The first one is that the slides should include less text and more visual in your presentation design. Let me go to this link. For this point, we should note that some speakers just reading their slides, it's not good. It's very bad in presentation. So you should not write all text that you want to say to your audiences. Okay, slides that include full sentences of text are more boring, and they are not useful at all. Okay, this problem exists again when texts that are too small to read. So we should choose our sentences more carefully, not too lengthy. Our slides should not be too wordy, and on the other hand, they should not be too small. Let me go ahead and give you some explanation about this topic. As the author of this web page said, in my experiences speaking at conferences and webinars over the past few years, audiences respond much more positively to presentations that use visual in place of text. Okay, so we should try to use graphs, to use charts, to use figures to explain some context, some content, some concepts. Okay. Audiences are more engaged, ask more questions, find my talk more memorable when we include lots of visual examples in my slide text. Sometimes for illustrating some concepts we have to use a sample. Okay, by examples, by samples, we can explain some concepts more easily, as you have seen in Mr. Afut slides. All concepts are explained by some examples. Okay, let me see your message. Okay. A great example of high visual presentation is the iconic, which include no more than 40 words per slide. Okay, 40 words per slide is the most length of our sentences. Instead of repeating the speaker's script on slides, it makes an impact with keywords, large numbers, and icons, as you see at these slides. Okay, these slides are more illustrative because some core sentences are highlighted at this slide, and the speaker can explain more about these words. The audience can note easily to the thoughts when the speaker talk about these numbers and these arrows and other terms in the slide. But when our slide is full of text, as the video said, as the comedy video said, the audience will be bored at the first slide, enough to leave the session, to leave the conference. Okay. So, how to summarize and organize information for presentation? There are 6 important points about the organization, about the structure of presentation. Number 1, identify one core message to center your presentation design around. Number 2, eliminate any information that does not immediately support the core message. Okay. Number 3, create a strong presentation outline to keep you focused. Number 4, use text to reinforce, not repeat what you are saying. Your text should be different from what you are saying. Your text should be some keywords, some key phrases, but not complete sentence or complete paragraph. Your items should be neutral, should not relate anything, but just should take the attention, got the attention of your audiences. They should encourage them to know what is your opinion about those keywords. Those keywords are negative in your mind or are positive. The sentences, the phrases of your slide text should not relate any opinion of the speaker, of you. Okay, design your presentation with one major takeaway per slide. In a slide, per slide, you should have one concept to relate, to speak about. You should speak about one problem in each slide. Too many problems that to be discussed in a slide could be boring. Okay. Use visual to highlight the key messages on each slide. This is the 6th point that you should take care to making better presentation. For example, at this slide, the title, the problem, the core problem, or the title of the slide is highlighted well, and extra slide could be explained more about that topic, that terms. These texts are so short that cannot relate any opinion of the speaker. The audience should wait and see how the speaker explains those terms. They are good or they are bad. This slide cannot convey anything about the positiveness or negativeness of them. Another point is to create a strong presentation outline to keep your focus. For example, a good outline for a typical presentation could be the same as this example. Take this presentation outline example. The first item should be explained is the introduction and hello vision and value proposition, financial profit, cash flow. In marketing presentation, please note to this agenda, to this outline, how convey the mind of audiences to flow from initial sentences, from introduction, to persuade your audience to follow your speaking and continue to hearing your speech. In this presentation, the starting point is introduction to the subject, and then relate a vision and value proposition. Then financial profit is discussed. Then cash flow, and then your statement and thanks and questions. For example, I have prepared a template for your presentation at this class. Your first slide in academic speaking should be included by the institute logo. Okay. For example, in your presentation, I wish your first slide have the logo of your university. Then the faculty or college and your department should be informed at the first slide. Faculty of Engineering, Department of Computer Engineering. Then the title of your paper should be highlighted. Okay. And then the author's journal title, and the presenter should be informed at the first slide. And at the bottom of the slide, the date of the presentation should be written. Okay. And then we go to the next slide. The next slide is an outline slide or agenda. In the agenda, excuse me, at the bottom of this slide, as I copied from Professor Afut's slides, I should delete this footnote, this bottom texts, and they should be changed by your name and your title, your paper title. Okay. In the agenda, this is true for all of your research papers except review papers. The review papers structure are different, and they should be prepared in another way. Your agenda includes an introduction to the subject. For example, if you want to present a research paper that has a title of, for example, testing by machine learning, you should have enough introduction to machine learning, to testing of software, to prepare your audience and encourage them to to continue your lecture. Okay. After the introduction part, this part is the same as the introduction of your paper. Okay. In most papers, in the introduction part, the problem definition is prepared. So the problem definition can be extracted also from the introduction of your paper. As I explained you before, in most paper, the paragraph that located just before the last paragraph of your introduction usually relate the problem definition or the outcome of your paper or results of your paper. Okay, so the first item should be introduction, the second one clear definition of your problem, your mathematical view of your problem, a mathematical view of your problem, or the mathematical modeling of the problem should be presented at the second part. In the third part, you should relate the objectives of the research. The objectives should be explained at the third part. In the next part, you should explain the proposed method or the proposed approach as well as possible. Okay. After that, you should talk about the implementation infrastructure or the simulation tool that's used to simulate the proposed method, and a test bed that is used to evaluate the research work, the research project. For example, some papers are implemented via MATLAB to MATLAB programming, or some of them could be simulated by some other tools. At this stage, you should explain enough, you should inform enough your tools or implementation infrastructure. Okay. At the next stage, you should present the evaluation of your research paper. For example, for evaluation, you should inform your data set, your evaluation criteria, your research questions should be explained enough. And then you should talk about how to evaluate and how to use the data set to evaluate your suggestions, to evaluate your proposed approach, and what research questions should be answered by this evaluation. In this section, you should show several tables and figures and charts to show the proposed method is work well, is work better in some cases or in most cases. The preference of the method should be proved at this stage. And then you should summarize your research paper. You should make a conclusion and talk about the future works, the possible future works, the possible future projects. Okay. So for each research paper, you should have about 20 slides. For example, you can have about 3 slides for introduction. You can have 3 to 5 slides for 3 to 5 slides for introduction. Make a good introduction for your audience to have enough knowledge about the problem and the context you want to speak about. And then the problem definition should be defined clearly in about at most 2 slides. Okay. The objectives should be given in a 1 slide. Okay. The proposed approach may take several slides about, for example, 5 or more slides. You should present the proposed approach with enough details to show your amount of your work, amount of your attempts, and so on. And then you should inform the implementation or simulation framework in 1 slide. Then at the beginning of the evaluation, you should inform your test setting, such as your data sets, parameter setting, and research questions in about 2 slides. Then show your tables of your executions, your experiences, or your experimental results. Show charts, show bars and figures to prove your proposed approach is notable. This may take, for example, 5 slides or more. And finally, you can have a conclusion and future work at 1 or 2 slides. Altogether, you can have 20 to 25 slides for about 20 minutes speaking, up to 25 minutes. Let me see your messages. Should the present contain the references? It's not usual. Usually the references are not showed at your slides, but when you want to inform some resources to your audiences to research more about your talks, you can have some resources, but at thesis, at the final defense, it's not traditional. It's not usual to have references at the end of your presentation. Okay, in the first slide you can have opening words. You can inform you and your paper at the first slide. If you if I got you can have informed yourself and your paper and your journal. Okay. So in the next slides, you should note that your slide should not be full of text. This slide is not good for a speech, because it's designed for a class. Okay, your slide should have less text than this one. And as you have seen, you should use some examples step by step, define the process of your approach, and define the steps of your algorithms by some figures, some graphs, and some pieces of code or structures, as you have seen from the slides of Professor Afud. These slides are very, very good and very professional. Okay, but the first one, as I said, is not so suitable for general lecture, general speaking, when we have more audiences. But it is good for a class. Okay, and as you see, he has used some effects to show the steps of the solution, the steps of the algorithm one by one, and do not confuse the audience. Okay, some tables, some figures should be used, some effects should be used to give enough knowledge about the results, about the approach, and so on. And finally, you should summarize. And thank you slide. Have a thank you slide for finishing of the or ending of the lecture. Okay, the slides must be brief. Yes. Okay, please ask your questions if you have questions. Let me see the time. Okay, we have no more time. Please prepare your presentation for next week. I will give you a timetable to present your study project, and we have no more time. We should have several extra sessions to do your presentations. And as we experienced this session, your infrastructure is not so bad, and we can have good discussion about your papers. You maybe you be encouraged by this presentation to select your thesis about these papers and do and start your research after this course. And it's very great. Okay. Okay, I send the first two slides of this template, and you can have more templates from the web. You can search more templates from the web. Some templates is for commercial purposes. They are not so good for your presentation. Please select academia ones and use more suitable templates for presenting a research paper. As you have seen in previous lecture, we use a very simple template for explaining the testing tools. Okay, no problem. I have not finished the final point I want to remember. The lecture, the chapter 7. Please go ahead through the video materials I informed you, and continue to learning the remaining parts of chapter 7. I hope you can learn from the Indian professor and follow her lectures about chapter 7. Maybe next session we start chapter 8, and the remaining of chapter 7 can be left for you to learn from video materials. There is no need to send your exercises, because I evaluated you by have an oral exam. I asked about those exercises, and for example in chapter 7 maybe I asked some I prepare you some control flow graph and ask about the test passes, the test requirements, the coverage criteria related, the several coverage criteria related to control flow graphs, and so on. So when I want to examine you by oral speaking or written paper, written exam, there is no need to send your exercises. Yes. Actually, it means that the exercises help you to have a good exam, to have a good result. Okay. Excuse me, I forgot to record this session. I have not recorded this session. Excuse me. I send the slide for you and the link to use by yourself in making your presentation slides. Okay, please send to your friends, Miss Hannah. Okay. If you have no question, let me finish the lecture. Okay. I appreciate you for your attention. I hope all of you have good mark in this course. Please don't worry about the exam. Please don't worry about your presentation. Just set enough time to work on this course and go ahead, and there is no problem to have a trouble in this course. Inshallah. في أمان الله. Good night.